is this thing started up here and it moved all the way down across the state to the southeast, and there were places down like around Newcastle, Henry County, got up to 10 inches of rain. So where it was mostly wind up here and losing power in that neck of the woods, roads were being washed out. There were a lot of water rescues. So this was quite a storm that moved across our state. Highest recorded winds, and Jonathan with the Indiana Department of Homeland Security will give you some particulars, would have been registered in Gary at 99 miles per hour. So we got a lot of damage across the state. All of our resources will be attentive. We were up here yesterday, and we will pour the coals to it to make sure that we get things back in order. Again, up here it's going to be power restoration, a lot of cleanup. As you go south, it's going to be more involving damage from heavy rain. Jonathan, come on in and give them some particulars.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jonathan Whittam with the Indiana Department of Homeland Security. Our State Emergency Operations Center is up and running at a level 3, which is an elevated level from normal daily operations. I want to start by commending everybody in this room, all the locals here in Lake County, surrounding counties. The response has been tremendous. This was a widespread event, and I can say that the local response has been inspiring. We have seen a few and far between requests coming into the State Emergency Operations Center. As those are coming into us, we're handling those, we're tasking those out to different state agencies or local partners that can help with the response. But at this point, the local response agencies have done a tremendous job stabilizing the situation and making sure that the information is flowing into the state and they're receiving what they need from the state agencies. So our partners are here, State Police, the National Guard, Department of Correction, Department of Transportation, Department of Natural Resources. All of these state agencies are working collectively right now to make sure that the teams are ready if and when they are requested, either up here in Northwest Indiana or potentially for some of the flooding issues that we're seeing across other parts of the state this morning and this afternoon. We did unfortunately have one confirmed fatality at this point from the storms yesterday. That was a 4-year-old child in Jennings County. And we have 2 other reports of fatalities that are unconfirmed at this point that may be storm related. I'll turn it back over to the governor for any other comments at this point, and then I'll be available for questions specifically. Sure. Jonathan, Jonathan, Whittam, Whitham. Thanks.
Thank you, Jonathan. Mayors, you want to weigh in?
Thank you. Eddie Melton, Mayor of the City of Gary, Indiana. First, I want to thank the governor and all of the resources he's bringing up this way. I want to thank Mayor Tom for bringing the mayors together from all across Northwest Indiana. The City of Gary, as the governor mentioned, was hit extremely hard. Trees uprooted, roadways blocked, significant power outages, but public safety been working around the clock, just like many other communities throughout Northwest Indiana. We are making the YWCA a shelter in the City of Gary. That's 105 West 15th Avenue. It will be an overnight shelter. We have public safety that's going to be there. We'll be serving hot meals for families that are displaced. Just want to encourage folks to stay safe, stay out of high waters, stay away from down power lines. But again, this is an example of all hands on deck. So Mayor Tom and the governor, thank you for bringing Northwest Indiana together.
Mayor Tom McDermott, Mayor of the City of Hammond, thank you everybody for coming out, especially Governor Braun for being here on this this tough day. Yesterday at about 1 p.m., Hammond was hit with sustained winds of over 90 miles an hour, causing widespread damage across the city. Basically, if you live south of 165th in Hammond, which is about 2/3 of our residents, you're without power right now. It seems like we're starting to get power lights back, which I think is a good sign, but I expect this to be prolonged. I talked to representatives from NIPSCO this morning, and they said this could take through the weekend to restore power. So for those of you out there that are wondering if you're going to have dinner under lights tonight, you're probably not. I would make plans for the worst. Right now, 22,000 locations in Hammond are without power. NIPSCO has 276,000 locations without power across their grid. I know a number of contractors are in town right now to help out with the situation, but this is going to be prolonged. I appreciate again Governor Braun and his leadership and his team for being out here. And again, stay safe. There are a lot of power lines down right now. Stay away from them. Thank you, Governor.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Governor,
Questions?
if you or the mayors want to weigh in, I don't know if you guys have seen the long lines at gas stations, but it seems like some of them are running out of gas. There's pumps down. Can you speak to what you're advising people to do and if you're aware of the situation?
So anything that's requiring electricity, you're going to have to think through it, and that's probably one of the reasons. We will have to address that as one particular issue. If it's prolonged, the quicker our utilities can get it back on, and NIPSCO has felt the brunt of it, because as you go south, it's been more about water damage than power loss. So another consequence that we'll marshal all the resources we can, because that's a necessity, and we'll work through it.
Governor, we were reports of potential price gouging for stations that are out and open. Is that
We've already been paying attention to that under the gas holiday we've all been experiencing, and that's been watched closely. If that happens on something like this, that's even a higher level of scrutiny. So yes, we'll pay attention to that.
Governor, do you believe that the 5-month-long lockout over at BP Oil has any impact on the supply of gasoline right now?
I don't think that has. I think that in general here, you've had a traumatic event. Anything requiring power, you're not going to have access to it. That's why the most important thing is getting power restored. And hopefully this utility will do like many of them do, draw in resources. We're going to do anything at the state level to accommodate when it comes to debris removal, things that we can do to help out in a particular area. This is just one event that is much broader. When you have straight line winds as opposed to tornadoes, it's going to cover a lot more territory.
Governor, you mentioned that this is likely a statewide declaration. Any thoughts about reaching out to the federal government, FEMA, anything like that?
So the way you do this is generally county by county. It's quicker when you do a statewide declaration to get to exactly what you're talking about. And once we assess it, it'll take up to a week to see where the damage is, how much, and everywhere. And that's pro forma, fairly quick. And then go to the feds to see what we can get help there from.
Based on what you're seeing, is FEMA help likely?
Probably.
Governor, is there a representative from NIPSCO here, and if not, why? What is the latest we've heard from them?
Well, I would hope they're out there getting the power restored. And I think the mayors and any local government, including our state government, will be making sure that's done. That's the number one job they need to be focusing on. And when you have something like this, that takes a while, and I think the mayor described it pretty accurately in terms of how long.
Is there anything they should do for a possible next storm?
Pardon?
Did they raise any concerns to you about their level of preparedness for the next possible storm? Were they unprepared leading into this?
So I think everybody's prepared. We've had several. I've been up in the region twice in March and June due to tornadoes, and we're on it immediately. The state was on it yesterday, and then we had to follow it all the way down to the southeastern part of the state. This is just one of those straight line wind events that's covering probably nearly a third of our counties. Normally a tornado will be on one or two.
Governor, the NIPSCO's latest 11 a.m. press release says they got 200 contracted crews. Are they going to call in any more contracted crews? Usually ComEd has like 1,500 to 3,000. Is that 200?
So we'll be checking with them to see that they're going to get the right amount of resources. They are the utility that's been hit with the most damage. So all of us will be throwing everything in the kitchen sink at it to get it done. So it's for them to make sure they're communicating with us, and they are prepared for stuff like this. This doesn't happen often, but you got to be prepared for it, and we will be touching base with them constantly on it.
Superintendent, have you had an opportunity to speak? Governor, have you had an opportunity to speak to the superintendent of schools about the region?
Speaking to who?
To the superintendent of school districts regarding the closing gas.
So when it comes to schools, any other businesses, they're going to be impacted by it. Just like when we were up here last, it happened at a school that got at Andrian. There was a lot of damage in one place. And I walked through that building, and I was surprised it wasn't worse. And yes, they're going to be in touch with us. We'll be in touch with them, and businesses in general. This is a time when you need to reach out to your public officials, tell them where it's at so we can get on it. The state's going to be fully involved until we get through it.
And can you go over those injuries again? I know it was mentioned a 4-year-old that may have been killed in yesterday's storm.
Jonathan?
Sure, yeah. Sadly, the 4-year-old died in Jennings County. That was a tree that fell on their home. And we have reports of various levels of injuries across the state. And again, 2 other fatalities that may be weather-related. We're working on confirming those at this time.
Where were those at? Do you have any details of where those potentially?
Yeah, Lake and Porter County were the other 2 that may be tied back to the storms.
Given that we're seeing these back-to-back storms, I mean, I think that there's fatigue from residents we've talked to. Is there anything that you guys are doing in the interim to prepare that this could be the new reality in this area?
I think it's a broad question. We'll prepare for things like today. We got another round of storms maybe coming through, so be cautious of that. I don't think it's forecasted to be of the severity of this, but when it comes to events like this, we've had them over the last 3 years. Southern part of the state was hit worse in many cases, but you got to anticipate them, and we're going to be on top of it. And yes, if something becomes more frequent, we'll have to gather the resources to be prepared to deal with it more often. Congressman, would you want to say a few words? Congressman Ravan.
I want to thank the governor. He had mentioned what happened 6 weeks ago in Maryville, and the local, the county, and the state worked together with FEMA. FEMA on July 16th did an assessment. So what people need to know next when it comes to federal resources, FEMA has been contacted by me. It goes from the city of Hammond, the city of Gary, to the county, then to the state. Then there's an assessment. The process goes that it's with the consumer price index of $4.83, which comes to about $250 million for the county. Then FEMA comes in. Businesses can turn to the SBA, the Small Business Association. But the message today is we faced a disaster. Mother Nature can be magnificent and cruel, but now you have collaboration with federal, state, local agencies coming together along with the National Guard to make sure we have recovery. Now what's next is recovery, making sure people and streets are safe and cleared, and making sure all collaboration comes together, that we're working together to make sure our most vulnerable populations and we restore power. With that, I thank the governor for everything he's done and the mayors. And I also want to thank the town employees and city employees who have been working 24 hours to clear streets and to make sure the next level of what is going on in our community can happen. Thank you.
That's maybe the buzzer for a couple more questions. Go ahead.
Engine 3111, Truck 4424, Engine 4515, South Italian.
So we did that on the way up from Hobart, taking the back roads, and there were trees. One particular home had a dormer taken out of it, and it's widespread. So this to me looks like it's going to clearly fit into the statewide emergency declaration, and if we get that, it makes the whole process move more quickly.
Governor, maybe for people who are dealing with all the tragedy here, with a little bit of good news. We're here in Hammond. What can you tell us about things with the Bears? We're expecting an update from them. Can people here expect that might be some good news on the Bears?
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm surprised it took that long. So, yeah. I want to thank this guy here because from the time the Bears called me roughly 9 months ago, and I wanted to make sure it was more than a casual conversation, there's been a lot of things that have happened quickly. I describe it moving at the speed of business, not government, and running a city is more like running a business in many different ways. So when we were able to get the enabling legislation done, and a strong public statement from them that they were interested in February, and when their own legislature gavelled out just a few months ago on May 31st, that's when the entire board unanimously voted to focus on Hammond, Indiana. When we get this across the finish line, we're in the due diligence stage. It's going to be one of the biggest things that's ever occurred to our state, not to mention the region. So we're doing everything you need to do to make sure we get it done. And a lot of it, somewhat of the urgency is off because they were wondering who was going to listen to them, where it was going to be, and we've done that pretty quickly, made it easy. So it'll be a few more months. They're looking at additional acreage, which I think they might come up with. But we're in contact with them at least twice weekly, and the mayor probably is as well.
Could you speak to how significant the update might be tomorrow?
No, not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow?
No.
What's your message to the people of Indiana? They're still cleaning up from a few weeks ago. We got pummeled again today. It's still early August. What's your message to the people who are scared of force?
It's been a rough weather season. We're kind of in that tornado alley, and if we're going to get hit by it, the question more often, you'll have to up the resources. All I can tell you, I've been here a year and a half, and in our state's business, it's running about as well as it can. Our state budget is in great shape. We got a surplus. We got a rainy day fund. It's been the sole reason we've been able to give the gas tax holiday. 49 other states probably wish they could, but that's a collective effort among local governments and state government, and when we need the federal government to where they come in as well, and we got a good relationship with them. So you got to plow through it. Hopefully it never becomes an instance of government not doing its share of it, and we're inviting you to stay communicative. Tell your local authorities what needs to be done. The state will be there to back it up. So I'll take two more questions. Go ahead.
Illinois and Indiana applying for federal help dollars after the disaster. Indiana has a much better relationship with the federal government, the Trump administration. How will that help you? Do you see that being a leg up for Indiana?
I think that's going to make a difference. We were the state that got the drone corridor when they picked 2 states. We're the state that's going to get part of the agricultural department moved to us among 4 other states, 5 of us all together, and things like energy independence. So we can actually do what I've spent the most time on, reorganizing the entire Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, and we're going to make sure these affordability issues, property taxes, healthcare costs, cost of owning a home, all get addressed. And this is part of it, and yes, you got to have a relationship with the federal government, hopefully to where they're responsive when you need them. One more question. Go ahead.
Can you tell us how the National Guard is going to figure into
So the tag is here, Larry Munich, General Munich. He's here because if we need those resources, I will authorize them to be here if we need to speed up the cleanup or do anything above and beyond. That's why he's here today. He does an excellent job. We got one of the best guards in the country. They run a really good shop. So yes, he'll be on call. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.